there was so many good series. I'm a pretty big like Netflix head, and I was watching a lot of the same things until I started seeing some of these shows come out during this shutdown.
Yeah.
And I was watching some really good shows. So what were some of the things that you caught during the pandemic or during this past year?
So something I have been watching, Leslie Jones brought back Supermarket Sweep.
Yes,
It's
she
so, I know
did.
it's random, but when I tell you,
Yes, she did.
I freaking love watching it. It's so funny watching the people run and try to get that stuff in that cart.
Hmm.
It's hilarious. The people be
It's
so
good.
corny. It's so freaking funny to me. So I do love Supermarket Sweep.
And
Of
she's
course,
funny.
yeah, and she's funny.
She's so funny.
Caught up on Lucifer because I think they had dropped like the second part of like the last season or something like that.
Hmm.
So caught up on Lucifer. I know it may be, you know, but it's a good show. It's a
I
comic
still
book
haven't seen
show.
it.
It's not what
So it's a comic book show.
it's not what you think it is. It's
Okay.
funny. It's basically the kind of the basic plot of it is like Lucifer is like he's like a what's the word, like a criminal consultant almost, but he
Oh,
works like
okay.
with the detective. It's a cute like little rom-com with a little action in there, but it's funny
Uh-huh.
and his character is really good, so it's not
Okay.
like, oh, we're all in hell, kill us all demons, no.
Right. Right. It's not some Hail Satan type of thing. Okay, cool.
however
Um uh-oh.
however, I also caught up on Supernatural, which
Okay,
is
Supernatural.
some of that. But
Yes.
I like Supernatural. It was the end of the series actually. So
Oh
there will be
no.
no more Supernatural. And it actually ended in a very, you don't see, I'm black, so a lot of our shows don't end in a very well-rounded and put together and complete way.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see it done, it's like, oh, that's nice. Never experienced that before.
That was so
Still trying to
good.
figure out what happens at the end of 101. Still trying to figure out what happens after the old girl went upstairs in Family Matters. Where'd she go?
Right.
You
Where
know,
did she go? Uh
still never got these answers.
yes, you're absolutely right.
I still want to know
Um,
what happened to Moesha.
that's a good question. On my kind of dark side of Netflix, I have Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Oh, I
And
can't
I don't
get through it. She gets on my nerves.
okay, so I'm telling you, she gets better. She really does. Apparently season 4 just dropped. I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen up to season 4, and I like the fact that it's not like some bubblegum pop take on Sabrina,
Hmm.
that they did go in
A little darker, yeah.
they did go darker, and I like that. And even the way, like, as she progresses as a character, they developed her well. Up to the part that I saw. Again, I haven't seen season 4, and I think some people are pissed about season 4. Um,
I was pissed
but
about season 1 because she got on my last nerve.
I'm telling you, after season 1, she really is a little bit more
Like,
palatable.
yeah,
Like, I
girl,
can
you got the power, but girl, you don't know nothing. And that's your
nothing.
problem. Like,
Nothing. And
she got on
then,
my
oh yeah, you got
nerves.
to keep watching, because let me tell you, seasons 2 and 3, when Sabrina start learning some things, if she starts knowing some things, oh yeah, she gets on point. But I did like that, and I also liked Ratched with Sarah Paulson, because
Oh my
again, I
God.
love anything
Yes.
she's in.
Yes.
Nurse Ratched was with it.
Was with
She
all
really
of
was,
it.
and I'm looking forward to season 2, because there's got to be one.
The way she was playing
Um,
them folks. But her brother just had to
Nurse
mess it up.
Ratched, let me tell you, Nurse Ratched was about it. And I'm just a big fan of Sarah Paulson. So anything that she's in, I'm going to give
Hmm.
it a chance. I'm going to at least try and watch it. And knowing that she was starring in this, I had really high expectations, because I'm like, it's Sarah Paulson. So, and it's Ryan Murphy. So I know that they're going to, and I'm an American Horror Story fan. So I'm like,
Hmm.
I know that they're going to bring, and again, he brought the formula, which I'm not disappointed in, because it's what works for him. The Ryan Murphy formula, you see it in everything.
Hey, it
Hollywood,
worked.
it was also
It
there.
worked.
Because didn't you say you saw Hollywood?
I did see Hollywood. It was
Yes.
really, really good. It
I
worked.
really enjoyed Hollywood. It worked. Like, the formula worked on that. It
Not
worked in
mad
Nurse
at it.
Ratched. I'm not mad at it. It didn't work on the last season of American Horror Story, maybe the last couple of seasons.
Mhm.
Maybe this next one will be right, because this next season, which is something I'm looking forward to in 2021, this next season is going to have Evan Peters come back. We got Kathy Bates coming back. We got
Mhm.
Sarah Paulson coming back. And we're keeping Angelica Ross, and I love Angelica Ross, from Pose.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be living for that. What else? Did you see Tiger King?
Oh my God.
Ooh, Chile.
Loved it.
Let me tell you. Did you love
Hey,
it?
all you cool cats and kittens. I loved it.
Oh, I did
Oh,
too.
I
It
loved
was,
every piece of it. I
I
loved
could
every
not
twist
stop
and
watching it.
turn. I
I could
loved
not stop
every
watching it.
gag. I just loved the hillbilliness of it. It was so
Mm-hmm.
ghetto and messy,
So
and it
ghetto and
wasn't
messy.
us.
It wasn't us. Yes, that was my point. I was like, yes, we're not the ghetto people being highlighted this time.
Exactly.
Um,
I
oh,
enjoyed it. Oh, it was a hot
yes.
mess. It was a hot
It
mess
was
in
Hot Mess
so many good
Express.
ways.
So
Because at
many
the
good
end of the
ways.
day, Carol, girl, you are doing the same thing they're doing.
Absolute same thing.
And you killed your
Absolute
husband.
same thing.
Because Carol killed
And
her
you
husband.
killed your husband. And look, they reopened the investigation.
They should.
Only thing that's gonna work for her is the fact that there's no proof,
That
but
lady was
they
really
definitely
riding on that
reopened the
bike, talking
investigation.
about, "Hey, are you cool cats and kittens?"
And let me just say, Joe Exotic was one of the craziest personalities I've ever seen. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he was absolutely wild. Like, there
Wow.
were just so many contradictions in his being. It
When they
just
flew over her place in the helicopter, Joe was so messy.
Joe is all around, and then like all of his little videos, his little
Mm-hmm.
show that he had.
Yes.
Oh, why did they not, like? Okay, this was my thing that I just didn't understand: is why did y'all let the threat get more serious before y'all stopped him?
Child,
Like,
they wasn't really scared to know Joe.
that's my thing.
They just was harassing Joe.
That's my thing. And then I don't know if you know, what was his name? Don. I think it was Don. The other guy, the one who had the other sanctuary, like in maybe one of the
Oh,
Carolinas or in
with the
Virginia or
gray
whatever.
hair, the creepy
Child,
guy
him. They got him. Did
with
you
the
did you
little
find it? Did you hear they
girls.
got him? Yeah, with
Child.
the all the wives.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. They caught him. They caught him.
I
He
the first thing I said was, "My mama would never." They
would
were
never,
16. My mama would be
would
like, "Girl, you
never.
are not going all the way out to the middle of Bumblefuck to go do what?"
Right. Oh my goodness. Yeah,
No,
Tiger King
hot
was a hot
mess.
mess. It was. And you know what else? Okay, I have a guilty pleasure, I have to admit, because I feel like it's pretty good. And anyone who just needs a guilty pleasure that is completely not safe for work, or not safe around the kids, it is Big Mouth on Netflix. Oh my
I
goodness.
tried, and
Big
I
Mouth
tried.
is it's a
I need to
hot
try
mess.
again. It
It's
is because I didn't know
so
what to
it's
expect.
so it's so raunchy. It is so bad. But for me, like, to be able to just not take anything seriously for a moment and to be able to watch Big Mouth is so refreshing, because it's like, for these 35 minutes or 25 minutes or however long each episode is, I am going to watch this awful show and this awful language and the awful content, because it is going to help me not, be so uptight and not take life so seriously. And
Mhm.
I get all of my little giggles from it, all of the giggles.
See, mine's wasn't Big Mouth. It was BoJack Horseman. I randomly
uh,
tried that one, and I actually really got into it and was weak off of it because he was an asshole, and who doesn't
did
love
you
that?
ever see Brickleberry?
I have. I've seen a few episodes of it.
Oh my gosh, Brickleberry was another. I don't know what it is about these just wildly explicit, inappropriate cartoons that is so hilarious to me, because I live for some South Park. Like, I used to love some South Park. It would give me like my giggles. Boondocks, like anything. I don't know what it is about these
Speaking of,
cartoons cussing. Yes.
so speaking of TV in 2020, Archer dropped their new season in 2020, which, they don't be long seasons, but I got my life off of it because I freaking love Archer. I could
I
watch
have.
the
Is that the
Archer
one with
series over and over
the
and over
suit and the
again.
wings? Is he the one with the suit and the wings?
The wings. He just a
This
regular agent. Ain't no wings.
1 minute, Archer. Is this the cartoon?
Hmm.
Oh, okay, okay. I
And
don't
they
know why I
like, they're
thought he had
spies.
wings. I've never seen it.
The guy that does Archer is the same guy that plays Bob on Bob's Burgers. It's so hilarious.
Oh wow.
They
Now
had did a
Bob's
cross.
Burgers
They
I've
had did
seen.
not really like a cross, like a kind of like a crossover episode one time. It was hilarious.
I bet it was because Bob's Burgers. Tina is the
I
star of Bob's
love Bob's
Burgers. I
Burgers,
love
which
Bob's
also
Burgers. Oh,
dropped in 2020. One of my favorite shows is Bob's.
yes, Bob's Burgers is good. Now there were some other shows on Netflix because again, I said I watch a lot of Netflix exclusives. I'm a pretty big Netflix fan. I pay enough each month that I'm like I'm getting my every
Okay,
coin,
price going
getting
up.
every coin out of this. I have like 5 users on my Netflix, so it's like, yeah. And they're like, you gonna pay per user, and that's a child. Um, ugh. But there was Sex Education. It
Hmm.
is this show that
I
came
heard
out. I
it
want to
was
say it's a
good.
UK show. It is so good. So the premise is the main character is this guy, and he's like maybe like 13, 14, 15 in that range. His mom is a sex therapist. And because I think the kids find out his mom's a sex therapist, and he ends up becoming like the sex therapist on like at the school. So the couples like come to him for advice, and it's the most interesting show. Like it's so interesting. The cast is really good, and it's a good show. Like it cracks me up, but it also they have like more as it's a balance between serious content and hilarious content
Yeah.
because it really teeters those moments.
Random question. What grade did they teach y'all sex ed?
It was it was when they taught us that health class. I think that was ninth grade.
Ninth grade?
I'm trying to remember. No, no, hang on. No. When was the because okay, there was 1 year, and I'm trying to remember what grade. It's a specific grade where they do this like one semester, y'all take like this health class.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other, no, okay. So the first one, no, I lied. We did have a sex ed class in ninth grade. It was a health and sex ed class, but it was one in seventh grade. You had with your PE class, it was a health class, a health sex ed class that came with that too. And there was a moment when they
Wow.
did it. They did like a assembly with like seventh and eighth graders.
Mm.
Yeah,
I only
yeah,
asked because I know, like, in the South, the whole sex ed in school thing was like a whole big deal. Like, that
yeah.
they were kind of like
Big
going on and
controversy.
talking about, oh, well, abstinence is the way, and that whole
That
way,
was what they preached. Sex ed really
which was
lasted like
so
a day.
stupid. What? Okay, so
Yeah.
for me, actually, the first time that we were taught was in elementary. It had to be like, I believe it was fifth grade. And then again in sixth grade, because girls, that's when their bodies start to change.
Hmm.
So it's wiser and smarter to do it earlier. But I'm just
I
surprised that,
agree.
like, y'all like we didn't even go to middle school without knowing about all of these
And I
things.
mean,
And let me tell you something.
honestly,
In that video, they showed a lady giving birth, and I was like, nope, that ain't for me.
nope, we never saw that. Honestly, or if we did, I don't remember it. Maybe I don't think we did. Honestly, we could have had this sex ed class in sixth grade, but I don't remember it happening before like middle school. I don't remember that.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember it happening in middle school, and every time that they would have it, like they might have done it every year. It might have been like an every year thing, like one day in PE, and then when we had that health class, it was like a chapter on like um sexually transmitted diseases. So they like broke them all down, and then they would do like an assembly for seventh and eighth graders and be like, "Don't have sex, you're gonna get AIDS." Um, and it would be like their thing. We'd
Because you're
see
gonna want to touch
poems
each
and
other, and then
plays.
you're gonna die. You're gonna
Right.
get
Like it was
chlamydia
it
and
was
die.
it was very much what was that? Was that Mean Girls?
Yes.
Yeah, it was very much like that. Like it was just very much abstinence is the way.
No, my ours was very informative. We got
They
little
talked now they did
packages and stuff.
no, we
They didn't give you all the
had
packages with the stuff in it.
no, like they did not pass condoms out if that's what you're saying.
They didn't give y'all
We
like a
got
little
to
piece of
see
deodorant, a little packet about how stuff go
no,
and that
no,
nothing.
no. We got
Y'all
to
was
see
just
what
sitting
a
there watching the video.
we got to see what a dental dam was. We got to see what a condom was. They put a condom on a banana, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but I don't remember that they didn't pass out any packets that I know of. I think we had to get a form signed by parents that we were going to have the sex talk at school, maybe. But I don't remember that ever being
Was that
like an
something
actual part of the
that
curriculum.
was spoken about at home prior to learning about it at school?
Um, I mean, I can't vividly say I ever remember us having the talk, if that's what you're asking me. I don't remember that. I don't know. I don't remember that.
Because
I honestly
I
don't
learned
remember
about it
how I learned
before,
about.
but I would ask. I was that kid that asked questions, and my mom's very open, so she just would answer the questions I would be asking. And then on top of that, I had a sister who was 6 years older than me that was
Hmm.
also living in the home, so there were conversations that I just so happened to be privy to, and I had questions.
I would say that I asked questions to a certain degree, but by the same token, there were certain things like I don't. Looking back on it, I would say maybe I was an intuitive child. So I might have just like looked and just tried to put a lot of things into context instead of asking like, "Hey, is this what this is?" I would just be like, "I think this is what this is." Many times I'd be wrong. I would just make my
Uh,
assumptions,
I
and
would
I would be
see it
wrong.
on
But I
TV
don't.
and be like, "So what about da da da? Okay, so how? What if da da da?" Asking all the questions.
No, I do remember vividly being turned to like look away when like sex scenes were like on TV.
Hmm.
I remember that, or like maybe they would like cover the TV or do something while I was in
Yeah,
there for me not to see it. It'd be a lot of like cover your eyes
yeah.
and look
Cover
away,
your eyes. Yeah.
a lot of that but yeah, I don't think I ever really remember having the talk like. I think as I got older, it just got to a point where I think my parents assumed maybe I knew some things. And so we would have certain conversations where things would just be said and understood and it would just be what it was,
Hmm.
like if that makes any sense. I feel like I said a
Yeah.
lot of nothing right then, but it was like, I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of,
I
I
was
never thought about
very much.
that.
I remember one time I even asked my mom. I was like, "So what would you do if I lost my virginity? How would you feel?" Like I was that kid.
Oh no, I would
I was
never.
that
But
kid.
again, like I was raised I was like, I think I would even maybe be willing to admit I might have been scared to ask those types of questions as a child. Like, just because, you know, it was a very holy environment. It was a lot of like, I knew that sex was fornication. That actually, you know what? I can rewind a little bit. I got my sex ed at church. That's where
Mm.
we got our sex ed. Our youth ministry. Yes, that's where I got it. Because my at one point my uncle was running the youth ministry, and he was very like young adult, and he a lot of the kids had respect for him, and so there were a lot of the conversations we had like classes that were broken up into certain groups, and there was a moment when there was like a girls chat and a guys chat, and they put us in different rooms, and we had a conversation, and then even now that I'm remembering things are coming back to me. My sister, who listens to the podcast, they had a program at their church that they brought to our church, and it was called Relationship Smarts. I'll never forget it. And it was like a weekend course in relationships for teenagers and preteens. And it taught us about like peer pressure and like what a healthy relationship looks like, and domestic abuse and
Hmm.
pressure to have sex and things like that. So I would, now that I'm reflecting on it, the more we talk about it, the more things are like, you know, I'm remembering. And so yeah, I think I did have a little bit, but it wasn't so much the school. It was that, like the church took that as a conversation they'd have. And it's the South, so I'm not surprised the church took control of that conversation.
I'm not either.
at
Nah,
all.
they would have.
Like,
The church would have had been over me because I would have had questions. Okay, I was even
well,
the
and
one in
we
Bible
were in a
study
safe
that'd be
space.
like, okay, so I know the Bible says this, but I just have one quick.
I
Like
need to
they
know.
had me
Yeah,
reading Bible. And I was the youngest one in there, so they used to be like, "Oh, here she go with her question."
here she go. Love it.
But I got questions. I be needing to know, and I feel like if you don't know, if you don't ask. So hey, I'm
This is
asking.
true. This is true. Um, Speaking of questions, have you seen The Stranger on Netflix?
The stranger.
Oh my gosh. I have to tell you, there's a show called The Stranger, and if you like a good thriller, oh, you're gonna live for this.
I don't
Woman
think I
pops up
watched
out of
that one.
nowhere. Woman pops up out of nowhere and threatens this man that she was gonna spill some information. Or no. She pops up out of nowhere and she tells this man some information she has about his wife that he didn't know. And then she just start like spilling the tea. Oh,
I feel like I started that, but I didn't finish it. Cause
so good.
yeah, I feel like I started that, but
So
I didn't
good.
finish that.
You have to go back and watch The Stranger. It's like
'Cause I
really, really,
remember
really
people
good.
talking about it, and I remember meaning to go and watch it, and I feel like I started it, but I didn't.
That was like one of my top shows of the year. The Stranger.
Hmm.
Uh
Did you watch
Also, what
Money
was that?
Heist?
I didn't. That was on my list and I never watched it.
You got to get into Money Heist. You
Money Heist. I have to
got
watch
to
Money
get
Heist.
into Money
It's
Heist.
that good.
Money
So I have
Heist
to
was
watch
so
it.
good. I didn't even realize it was dubbed. That's how good Money Heist was. I didn't even realize
So
it was dubbed.
okay, I'll have to watch Money Heist. Oh my
I
goodness.
was so into it. I was like, oh my God. And then I realized, wait a minute, they're not even speaking English.
So one minute. Maybe I'm thinking of a different Money Heist. I must be thinking of a different Money Heist because
It's on Netflix. It's a
you know
Netflix
what? I
show.
wasn't thinking of Money Heist. I was thinking of Good Girls. The ones where the
Oh,
moms start.
yeah, that was good too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard that was good. So one minute, Money Heist. What is that?
Money Heist
What's
is when
that?
they rob. It's like a bunch of these Italian people. They rob a bank, and it's
Okay, no, I haven't seen that. So
basically,
okay, I'll
oh,
watch that.
it's so good. Oh
Okay,
my
yeah, I
God, it's
like a
so
good
good.
bank
It's
robbery moment.
so
TV
good.
show, movie,
Like,
TV show, right?
and but yeah, it's a TV show. But they take when
Yes, I
they
have to watch it.
listen the foolishness that go on in the bank, outside the bank, like it just ooh, it's a mess. It's so good. It's
Mm,
so good.
okay, so Money Heist. Did you see Outer Banks?
No.
Oh my goodness, that's another good one. That is they play a lot on casteism,
Hmm.
and racism in that. It's good. It is good. Outer Banks. It's on Netflix. It's about a guy who his dad's like missing. He's like living on his own. He's considered part of like the lower caste, and um, something happens, some things transpire in the show where he ends up on the run with a girl from the upper caste, and mysteries start unfolding, and they start finding stuff, and stuff start finding. It's good.
Hmm.
It's a good like action adventure type of young adult show. It's good.
Yeah.
I think
Did
one
you
show
watch?
that
Go ahead.
oh go ahead.
I was gonna say, did you watch Lovecraft Country?
I did not. I have not watched Lovecraft Country yet, and I've heard so many things about it.
Yeah, that one was good. That was
I've heard it's
good.
like
I'm
really
like,
good.
finally something. It's like it's giving you the messages, but it's different. But they
Mm-hmm.
drop so many gems in there that you
Yes, I've
have to
heard about the history
actually
lessons.
know.
Yes,
Yeah, you got to be paying
I've heard about the
attention.
history lessons.
Oh yeah, good,
Did
good.
you see P Valley?
Oh yeah, down in the valley.
Yes,
Yes.
and the girl is you naked. Yes, P Valley. And you know
I
what's
was all
bad is
up and through the valley.
I haven't seen the last two episodes, and I have to see them.
I cannot wait for the
Um,
next season. Oh, I can't wait.
I that show was I didn't expect to like it.
Me
I
neither.
watched it with a friend because she was like, "Oh, I really want to watch it," and I was like, I'll watch it with you. I've heard about it, but I'll watch it with you.
Hmm.
We were watching that, and we ended up binging like 4 episodes the first night, and we were like, oh my gosh,
Yes,
like that is
it's
good.
good.
It was really
It's good.
good.
And what I love the most, and I was trying to explain it to like my mom, I'm like, the girls are really dancers. Like what they
Mm-hmm.
doing is not easy to do. You got to really
At all.
train your body to do what they are doing. Those are athletes up there right there. And those are
Mm-hmm.
real dancers. Okay?
Absolutely.
Not Shaniqua
Absolutely.
who could twerk. That's not who we talking about. Okay, we talking about Shaniqua who was on the dance team who want to open up her own. She really, really danced for real, for
Mm-hmm.
real. That's the
Mm-hmm.
Shaniqua I'm talking about, not the other one.
Yes, it was good. Like yeah, the cast was great. The
Very
storyline,
well.
I really enjoyed the storyline, and they touch on a lot of topics and a lot of like, there's a lot of
Hmm.
things that they touch on in that. There's casteism that they discuss in there, and just seeing how things happen. It really, being from the South, you get to see a lot of parallels. It's one of those moments of life imitating art imitating life, and
Hmm.
you just kind of getting combined in little collisions
Yeah.
in the psyche. Like there's
Yeah.
some moments where I was like, "Ooh, this is a little real." Like there was some real moments in P Valley. So, yeah, I really enjoyed. There were so many good moments in TV like this year. So what I think we should do is take just a super quick break. And after this break, I think we should talk a little bit about some of the people who were canceled this year, because there were a lot of people canceled. And then before we like wind this whole thing down, talk a little bit about what we hope to see in 2021. So we'll be right back, guys, right after this break. All right, guys. So welcome back, 5011 fam. So again, this is our episode of A Year in Review. We're talking about 2020, and we've saved kind of the best chunk for last, I guess you could say, because I definitely see us getting a little bit on our soapbox about some of these.
Oh
So,
Lord.
there are a couple people I want us to talk about, a couple things we've even touched on this past year. So, there were a lot of people canceled.
Hmm.
A lot of people canceled. There were some brands canceled. There were some shows canceled. Um, what would you say was like your big? Who was your biggest canceled moment of the year? Like, what was it for you?
I don't even know if I really have like a biggest cancel moment of the year, but I will say one of the people for me that I personally got invested in, it was like they ain't even, I don't even think they really cancel, but Boosie, I in my book he canceled. Boosie, I couldn't.
Oh, Boosie.
I hate when people, it was better when he didn't have a platform. You don't, you just hate when you actually like somebody's music and then they get a platform and you realize like, oh, you're actually a
Mm-hmm.
trash person. I actually
You're
don't like
trash.
you.
Yeah, I don't like you.
Uh
Yeah.
Boosie had to go. Like
Uh.
he had a comment about everything and it was always something stupid. It was always stupid. It was always something that made me go, boy, just shut
Just
up.
shut up.
Like, but the way he came for Wade's daughter was where I drew the line, and that's where I had to get on off and had to exit stage left because
Yeah,
couldn't have been
there
my
was a lot of
child. You don't
there's
speak on nobody's
this,
child like that.
and you're talking about Zaya, right?
Yes,
Yeah, there's been so much disrespect about Zaya that it's just, it's
people keep forgetting
disgusting.
that's someone's
That's a
child that you're speaking
child.
on,
That is a child. No
and
matter
that's the
what your opinion is on
problem
the
in this
matter.
community. That's the problem.
Crazy. For me, I think what was such an interesting cancel moment to watch as it unfolded was the Jeffree Star Shane Dawson drama
Oh my god!
in the beauty community. So for some of
How
you out
does
there who
Jeffrey
don't
keep
know,
coming back?
I don't know. He's like the crypt keeper. He just keeps who's that, Jason, that just every movie
Mm-hmm.
he dies but he's back.
Yep,
Like he's like that. He's like Chucky. He just keeps coming
keeps
back
coming
for
back.
another movie. And the movies are getting gradually worse. Like that, Chucky's a good example because
Mm-hmm.
Child's Play was so good. But by the time we got to The Curse of Chucky, garbage.
Child, now they done brought
Absolute
the mamas,
basura.
the daughters. It's a hot mess.
It's
It's a
just a hot
hot
mess.
mess.
But for me, watching that situation, and for those of you who don't know, there's so much information on this hot mess on YouTube. Like, we're not gonna just, pollute this space with all of the negativity being fully rehashed. But in the beauty community, there's been a lot of toxicity, and these two were influencers, and they were this, that, and the other, and they really were revealed to be who they are,
Yeah.
and it came back to bite them. It came back. A lot of things that they've done and said in the past came back to bite them, and it was, to me, one of the most. And I hate to say that it was extremely entertaining, because to a certain degree it wasn't. It was sad because I realized, like, they are people. Like, people do have
Them
emotions,
the people that's
but
doing the same
but
thing
that's my
over and
thing.
over.
There is, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah. Take it on the chin.
And you look, if you are willing to go out there and dish it out, you got to be willing to take it. And it was interesting to watch some of the things unfold for them. So that was, the Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star hot mess was a mess. That's what it was, and it was definitely an interesting cancel moment.
Yes. And it was
But
like a domino effect. Like,
it
when that one
was
girl came out and she apologized for her previous material, and people start dropping like flies off the YouTube.
Jenna Marbles. Jenna Marbles. She's like, I'm gonna get off of YouTube. And the thing about her, she was like, I'm not
She
being
said, I'm gonna
canceled by
cancel
anybody.
myself before y'all do.
Right. Look, I'm gonna cancel myself. Look, this is what I had posted. Look, she had it up there. This is what I posted. This is what I said. I was wrong. And I'm just gonna step back from the platform. And these other folks got up there with these fake, horrible apologies, and Twitter was not having it. Was not having it. They're like, you're exposed. It's on.
And that was
And
one of my biggest things with like the protesting and everything like that. I like the first thing I said to Brittany was like, I hope that people don't see like, oh, them taking down a statue or putting out a public apology, or, oh, we have a few Black people who's the face now. Like, I hope people don't take that and get complacent, because that's not what's going to change things. These laws is what needs to be changed, because there are still states here in this country that have not legally outlawed slavery. Okay,
right.
let's be very clear on that.
Come on now.
The laws are what need to be changed. The Constitution is what needs to be taken a look at, reworked, retouched, and republished. Okay, it got to go.
Yes, and if you have been following our podcast, then we talked about what happened in the 90s when you become complacent. Like, we talked about the legislation that gets passed. We talked about the opportunities that get missed because you're like, oh, yay, we're the face of such and such brand now. Oh, yay, we finally accomplished that. But there's so much more. There's so much more to do. There's so much more to do. And so we don't have a moment to rest. We don't have a moment to just sit back and chill and be like, oh, look what we done did. Because we ain't done did nothing.
We still dying.
We are still dying at
Where are
disproportionate
Breonna
rates.
Taylor's killers? Oh, okay.
Okay. Exactly. And there was a situation, and I really don't even want to talk about it because it breaks my heart, but there was a situation recently. Again, police officer killing unarmed Black people. And like, it's so tiring, and it's so exhausting.
That in 1820, they just knew that we weren't going to be dealing with this in 2020. They just knew we was not going to be dealing with this. And look at us. Still to this day,
that's crazy.
The fact that to this day we still hear people being the first Black this, first Black that. Why are we just now getting to it?
And I'll say this is super, like, in comparison to what we've just been talking about, it's trivial. But Beyonce, when she did her homecoming performance, the one that she Beachella, she was getting ready to sing, I think, Girls Run the World. I think that's what she's getting ready to sing. And she got to the part where they're like this, it's like a big fanfare, like the one from Drumline. And they're like, and she says something like, thank you so much, Coachella, for allowing me to be the first Black woman to ever headline. And, you know, you just hear the audience going, wow. And she's like, nah, ain't that about a bitch? And it just really, it was such a, again, one of those moments when you look at it and you're like, we just now have John Legend being the first Black man to, the first Black man to get an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony. You know, we just having Black people finally get seen. And just because that's happening doesn't mean that the work is done.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I digress. So let's talk a little bit before we get out of here about 2021 and just some of the things that we're hoping to see. It can be anything like pop culture related. It can be anything personal. Like what are you looking forward to in 2021? Because we're just a couple days out and we're away, you know, just a couple days away from the year. Or at this point, by the time that this airs, it'll be New Year's Eve. So we're a couple hours out.
Right. So I'm just looking forward to growth and ascension. You know, I'm looking forward to being a better me. I've never been in this headspace before, ever. So I'm interested to see where it's going to take me. I'm positive about, because again, my 2020, although it was different than I expected and it's been a rough year, it was a better year for me. You know what I mean? So on a personal level, not even like, oh, I'm rich now, like not like that. Like, don't call me. But it was, you know, just on like a personal level, I just got me right, and I'm super happy about that and super grateful about that. And then I'm excited to see where this goes, you know, where this takes us
For
going into
sure.
2021.
For
Because
sure.
who
Me
knows where we'll
too.
be a year from now, you know.
Come
I
on now.
see big things, you know, don't want
I
to
do too.
discuss, but
I do too. And
it's
you know,
coming.
this is the final episode of season 1. We're going to be kicking things off with season 2 soon. We're really excited just for the things that we have planned for season 2. But yes, I completely agree with you. I'm super excited to see where this goes.
Yes.
For me, I think with 2021, almost a lot of what you were saying, I'm really just looking forward to like the growth and even utilizing some of the things that I learned this year, because I too look at this year as a year that I was able to gain a ton of insight. I was able to really like get to know myself so much better and, you know, really know what it is I want to do. And now it's just about figuring out how I want to go about doing it. You know, like it's the matter of execution now, because now I feel like, okay, I've got the plan, I've got the I've got the concept, I've got the idea. It's the matter of doing. And I'm just really excited for what life will look like in 2021. I'm also excited for, as everybody knows, I'm a big Jasmine Sullivan fan, and her Hotels album will be coming out the 8th of January, which before I continue, January 5th is right around the corner.
Ooh, take it out my brain.
All of our Georgia voters, please make sure you get out and
Please.
vote in that runoff. Please, 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 please. We cannot allow the re-election of Loeffler and Perdue.
Look at what's
We
happening
cannot
right
have them
now.
reelected.
Look at what's going on right now. If we get a president in office that does not have any type of control in the Senate or the House, look at what's happening now. It is going to be impossible to get anything done. It is going to be impossible.
Absolutely.
Y'all have to go vote. Okay. People criticized Obama when he was president about not doing anything, but he did not have that control.
Did not.
He didn't, because y'all did not vote on these types of votes that are super important. You know what I'm saying? We have to go and vote, because we have to make sure that we're voting for people who support what we believe and support the type of world that we want to see, because it's some crazy, wild stuff going on right now. Some crazy, wild stuff going on right now. And we have got to get right. We got to
get right.
Start using our voice. We got to start doing that, because that's the only way we're going to make anything change ever.
Absolutely. I'm also on the, you know, the music sense, back to the music sense, I guess you can say, is for my dream in 2021 is I see 3 projects for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see another Avery Wilson album or
Mm-hmm.
something. I need to see something else from him because the voice is just everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfection. Normani, we need to see a debut album. We need you to do something.
Because no shade, I remember when everybody was comparing her to Beyonce. Now, I'm not too familiar with the group that she was in. Like, I know who they are, but I don't know who they are. I don't
Right.
really know the songs like that. So I was like, okay, so we're the music that y'all referring to
Right.
supposed to be
And
comparing her to
see,
Beyonce.
they were talking, because it couldn't have been vocals. They were talking about performance style. She's got everything that it takes to be a
She's
super
good.
strong performer.
Yeah.
She's got everything that it takes. She's got amazing potential, but we haven't seen a debut album. We've only had one.
The only thing
single.
I know from her is the song that she had with Khaled, Love Lies. That's the only song that I know.
Oh, yeah. She's got the song Motivation. That was like a big hit for her because of the choreography. You should look it up because she kills it with choreo. She is a fantastic performer as far as dance. The things that she did in the video were awesome. She killed it. Everything she's done in the live performances of it, she's killed it.
Yeah.
So
I like
she's
her
done.
voice.
I like her voice. I like her style, but we need a debut album. If you're really trying to be the next Beyonce, which I just feel like we should stop. Nobody should be putting that label on her.
But they were really
they were really trying.
That's how I first heard of her was the comparison.
No, that's what they were trying to get.
They were really pushing that comparison, and I just didn't see the material to back it up. Not to say that she may not be, but I'm just like, what album?
Yeah, so we need a debut album from her. And I mean, we might get it, we might not. I'm hoping that we get an album from Rihanna. Or Rihanna, as she says, Rihanna.
Listen, Rihanna.
I'm not getting my hopes high. But we need the album.
Because she has given me excuse after excuse after excuse. Now I'm in the Navy, so I can say this. Because sometimes you got to tell your girl, like, girl, y'all told us December 2019. Here we are, December 2020. And what do you tell us, December 2020? Oh, I got a little cookbook for you. A cookbook? Now, yay, we gonna buy it. But
did you see her statement earlier this year, though, about the album?
Yeah,
she dropped
but
a statement,
like,
and she was like, "Oh, I'm not focusing on music." Right. But my thing is, the album is made.
That's my thing, the excuses, because then she talking about, oh, y'all see, I'm trying to save the world. Girl, you was not trying to save the world December of 2019 when you told us we was getting the album last time. Wasn't no Corona yet.
You
At
need
least
to
not
drop
that we
this
knew
album,
of.
You need to go ahead and just drop this album.
And then it's like, then on top of that, then you sat here at the Fenty and you go and tell me down to the Fenty show talking about, oh, well, I haven't dropped the album because I can't tour and make it fun and really do what I want with it. Girl, what happens to saving the world? And you about to put this show together, but you mean to tell me you can't put a show together for the album? You better stop playing with me, Rihanna. That's what you're doing.
Rihanna's playing. That's what she's doing.
Me. And then you had time
we need this album
to gather up all the recipes from the family. Oh, but you gonna tell me you didn't have time to just go ahead and drop that? Because you drop that album. You ain't gotta do nothing but release it. That's all you gotta do.
And I mean, the thing about it is, she said she listens to the album. My thing is, you've got the album. You have access to the whole album. You could just be bopping, just getting your life every day.
Exactly.
And we don't have it.
Like, don't even
the
tell
absolute
me that.
disrespect. The absolute disrespect.
That's how petty
so I'm definitely looking forward to that.
She rubbing it in our face.
I also have to say, as a nerd, as a geek myself, to know that there is going to be a black Batwoman next year, a black Catwoman next year.
Please redeem us, girl. Please redeem us.
It's going to be, it's going to be Zoe Kravitz, right?
Oh, I like her too, but I did not like. Let me tell you something. Halle Berry as Catwoman was not it. It was so bad.
It was
so bad.
But the documentary that came along with the movie was so good.
We don't care.
They had a documentary with the movie about the history of Catwoman, and they had all these old, like, Eartha Kitt, like, clips.
Right.
Child, Eartha Kitt.
Eartha Kitt is obviously number one, and then I loved Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman as well.
Did too. Michelle Pfeiffer had a good
She
Catwoman.
ate that. I
So
liked
you know what's
what's the
interesting?
other girl name?
Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway. Yes.
Hmm.
She was cute,
So they went
but
with
Halle
Anne
wasn't it.
Hathaway. They went with Anne Hathaway, but Zoe Kravitz had auditioned for it then, and they said, I think something to the effect of they didn't want to go urban this time, right?
And then when y'all went urban, y'all picked Halle Berry.
But see, no. This was recent. I'm talking about the Anne Hathaway cat.
Oh,
I mean, yeah, that was supposed to be Zoe Kravitz originally, but now this new Catwoman's going to be Zoe Kravitz. And in 2022, we'll be seeing a black woman as Black Panther.
yes.
I believe that's my prediction. I
That's
think
mine
from what
too.
I've
'Cause
heard,
where can they go? They know they can't. You can't. You just can't do it. You
you
can't do
can't.
it. And I know
You
people want to.
can't.
And me and Brittany were talking about this the other day because people just want to be like, "Oh, well, it's just a movie. The show gotta go on." Blah blah blah. This was not just a movie. Let's be very very
It
clear
was more,
on
way more
that.
than a movie.
It was way more than a movie. It was the first of its kind to ever hit the screen. You know what I'm saying? He was not just, and then not even just him, but Chadwick Boseman as a person himself to even play that character was just it of itself. And my thing is like he is the face of Black Panther. Like he is Black
Hmm.
Panther. Like me and Brittany were talking about the Joker, where people be like, "Oh, nobody could do it like Heath Ledger," and I'm like, "Well, it's different because with the Joker, we saw Jack Nicholson do it before." And we
Hmm.
thought that that was the best. And then we saw Heath Ledger, and we're like, okay, now this is the best. With the Black
Hmm.
Panther, there is no one to
There has
compare.
been no other.
There
You're
is
right.
no other. It's just nobody can touch that because he is that face for everybody. Like you
Hmm.
can, ain't nothing you can do about it. Like nothing.
Absolutely. And I think it's, I'd be remiss if we didn't just, again, give him his flowers again,
Mm-hmm.
because, the things that Chadwick Boseman was able to accomplish,
Mm-hmm.
um, while battling, cancer, I mean, was just amazing. I mean, you've got Black Panther, you've got Avengers Infinity War, you've got Endgame, you got the Ma Rainey's Black Bottom
You
Blues that's
got
on Netflix just
42.
premiered.
Get on
You
the
got right. There were
he
so
played
many.
the African guy. He played this African guy that was like looking for his sister because his sister got killed. I can't remember what the name of it. I feel like that was on Netflix or something. That was really good.
I
He
mean,
was
he
so
was just
good that
killing it.
Brittany didn't even realize he wasn't African. Brittany thought because in the other movie he had an African accent. She forgot he
Right. I
was
mean, after playing that and Black Panther, I could definitely see why she'd believe it. But yes, I'm definitely looking forward to Shuri, kind
mm-hmm.
of stepping into the role as Black Panther. I think that'll be really cool, a cool
Mm-hmm.
spin on it. Um, yeah, I think that'll be a cool spin on it. But that's kind of what I think I'm looking forward to seeing as far as the realm of us stepping in entertainment, in places we haven't been before, or
Mm-hmm.
in roles we haven't been before,
Yeah.
um, or even more specifically, roles Black women haven't been before, or places. I think this year has definitely shown a lot more light to the excellence that is Black women,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm hoping as we continue with this decade that Black women continue to get
Yes.
their due.
Yes.
Like, definitely. I mean, definitely our whole race, but Black women especially have been such powerhouses who go so under and unappreciated that, being able to shout out three who are in the entertainment realm, who are
Mm-hmm.
stepping into roles that is going to make a huge, huge difference for, like, my goddaughter and my niece growing
Yes.
up, for them to be able to look up to these strong, powerful roles that Black women are filling is just
Absolutely.
exciting to me, because I know that there's going to be continued role models for them, no matter
Mm-hmm.
what they want to do, no matter what they want to be. There'll be someone they can look up to who looks like them.
Yep.
So that's
That's
exciting.
the blessing in it. That is the
It
blessing in it.
is. It is. Well, as always, guys, before we get out of here, we have to do what we do, and that is our For the Culture shout out every episode. D, who you got for us this week?
Okay, so who I have is Ancient Aura Jewelry. And on
Mm.
Instagram, it's ancient.aura.jewelry. They have, it's Black owned, obviously, and they have some beautiful designer gold spiritual jewelry pieces. Okay, and Brittany has Cleopatra, and I believe she has a Africa necklace as well. They
Mm.
have super dope stuff. Like they have the Three Kings gold chain bundle. They have Set and Isis. They have the Hand of Life, the Hamza. They have Basquiat, which is super dope. They have the Ankh, obviously. They got a Malcolm X chain. Like, how dope would that be to walk around with Malcolm X on you?
Yes.
But they have a lot of super dope stuff, and they are some really, really, really beautiful pieces. So check out ancientaurajewelry.com and ancient.aura.jewelry on Instagram.
Yes, ancient oral jewelry.
Hmm.
I'm shouting out a former classmate of mine from my college days.
Hmm.
This girl is so funny. She's hilarious. But she's always had a passion for hair. And I want to say that we had our business classes together, and now she actually is a co-owner of the Peace of Mind Beauty Studio in Montgomery, Alabama.
Mm.
And so her name is Amber Hoyne. That last name is Hoyne. Amber is hilarious, but she is extremely talented. So she's a licensed stylist and an expert colorist. And this girl does phenomenal color jobs to natural hair. She does the twist. She does the silk press. She does it all. Like this
Yes.
girl is a killer at it. And her hair's always been gorgeous and beautiful, so healthy looking, and she does the same for her clients. So again, you can find her on Facebook, which takes you straight to her scheduling platform, or you can find her on Instagram at Amber Hoyne. That's AmberHoyne. Again, Amber is hilarious. So for those of you in the Montgomery or any part of Alabama willing to travel to Montgomery, Amber's your girl. She got you if you're looking for a dope colorist or a dope licensed stylist.
Yes.
So
Okay,
yes,
Amber. I used to want to do that. That's what's up.
child. I don't like doing my own hair. I couldn't imagine doing something to somebody else's hair.
Right.
Um,
But I love color, and I'm like, ooh, I
oh
love, because
yes.
I used to. I'm trying not to right now. I'm trying to just have my
Hmm.
hair black, but I love me a good piece of color, child.
Me too. I had red hair. I've had blue hair. I've been blonde. I've been brown. I've had highlights, lowlights,
I
gray.
love color. I love
Yeah.
doing color.
Mm. You might need to touch mine up. Let me stop. But we just want to thank you guys so much for tuning in for our final episode of the year. This has been a great
Yes.
year. This has been a great season. Like, even though this year is not how we envisioned it at the start, everything happened the way it was supposed to, and you've got to remember that. So as we say each week, we love you. We
Yes.
love seeing you and hearing from you. Please feel free to leave some comments, talk to us, engage with us on our social media. Remember, we're everywhere. We're on the YouTube. You can find us on the Spotify. You can get us on the Apple Podcast or the Google Podcast.
Yes.
We're out there. But yes, engage with us, guys. And our biggest desire for you for this year and going into 2021 is that you get to know yourself better and that you spend the
Hmm.
time with yourself. You do the work. We love you and we look forward to seeing you in the new year next week here at the 5011 Chronicles.
Peace. You love me and
Peace and
I
love.